You're listening to The Christmas World. For 'Tis the Soundtrack, I'm Kevin Williams. Journal entry, April 22nd, 5:57 p.m. The North Pole Concert Hall, Merry Way, North Pole Village. I'm standing just outside the Village Concert Hall. An impressive building. Impressive in size, impressive in design, impressive in composition. Built in the late 1400s, the concert hall takes inspiration from the contemporaneous European late Gothic hall churches of the time. Its high arched ceilings and long rectangular body focus and direct the sound of the performing orchestra or choir down the length of the nave and radiates it out across the village, surmounting even the freshest sound-dampening accumulations of snow. To aid in this manipulation of sound, the concert hall is comprised almost entirely of wood. In and of itself, this is not a unique architectural trait of the area. In fact, most buildings at the North Pole are constructed predominantly from native slow-growth pine and spruce. But the concert hall is a melange of exotic species: maples, cherries, oaks, all selected for their specific acoustic qualities. As I approach the concert hall entry, I am struck by waves of cacophonous buzz and chatter, the telltale sound of building anticipation. This is the first practice of this year's Elven Choir, and from the density of voice emanating from the concert hall, there's been quite a turnout. Upon entering the hall, the burnt, nutty aroma of polish oil fills my nostrils. The village maintenance team worked fastidiously during the off-season to ensure the hall was ready for tonight's assemblage. Every window casing, every pew, each handrail and banister, all rubbed and buffed to a lustrous finish. Their work can be most fully appreciated when candlelight catches in the scores of wooden reliefs that adorn the hall. The soft glow plays off the highest protrusions, while shadows catch in the recesses, breathing life into the intricately carved depictions of instruments, performances, and music itself. Christmas carols and hymns, long forgotten to time, exist only in the sheet music memorialized within the wall's carvings. Around the room, sweeping garlands of flowers festoon the multitudes of beams, archways, and mantels. Yellow Arctic poppies and purple sassafrage woven through spruce boughs signal that spring has arrived, if only recently, at the North Pole. I take my seat among the handful of villagers who, like I, have ventured out this early evening to support and encourage this year's initiates. As I nestle down into a depression in the pew, worn in by centuries of audiences before me, I spy a pair of Arctic foxes also in attendance. They have made themselves comfortable near one of the crackling fireplaces. The summer molt has already begun, but enough of their long white winter fur remains that they contrast sharply against the blue-gray and pale-green soapstone hearths. In their somnolent state, they seem unconcerned by the volume of natter occurring around them, only tilting an ear when their near slumber is interrupted by the sporadic pop of downy birch sap. I can't say whether it's excitement for the start of the choral season, or simply refuge from the biting cold that has drawn them here tonight. Outside, it is currently -40 degrees, a magically unique temperature that reads the same on both Fahrenheit and Celsius instruments. Back inside, and surveying the stage, I am quick to identify 3 distinct populations. The first is the oldest elves, gathered leisurely in a loose circle on the left side of the stage. A fraternity comprised of both elves who proudly count their consecutive years of choral service in the hundreds, as well as those who have joined for their once-a-century vocal tune-up and who, after a season spent confirming their pipes still operate correctly, will then stow them away again for another 100 years. Like fishing buddies, they contently swap stories, each one slightly more grand and slightly more impossible than the last. Juxtaposed with this senior group are the youngest elves, full of nervous energy and excitement, which is venting off in small, uncontrollable bursts of motion. Some within this group repeatedly hop off the edge of the stage, only to turn around and step right back up, looking confused and betrayed by this involuntary movement. Others are rolling back on their heels, then popping up on the tips of their toes, like a pod of young belugas taking turns breaking the surface to steal a quick glance at the world just above the water. Still others appear to be performing chaotic, arrhythmic little dances to tunes no one can hear. This is why shoes adorned with bells are forbidden attire for choir members. The last and largest congregation contain all the remaining elves. This is the core, the heart, the essence of the Elven Choir. Each one a magnificent vocalist in their own right. When they come together, they are the reason the elders can be a bit out of tune, and the children a smidge unprepared, and the audience still leaves, confident they have heard the finest performance of their life. The clock strikes 6 p.m., and the large brass bell creaks to life, releasing a series of chimes that roll down over the performers like a quieting wave. The choir master, always punctual, steps to the podium in unison with the final toll and gives the well-used lectern 3 quick strikes with a baton. All 3 land precisely in the worn smooth divot created by 5 centuries of choir masters and conductors performing the exact same motion, the universal call to order. The elder elves slowly break their lackadaisical circle and shuffle toward their rows, flashing the same urgency they had just shown moments ago while discussing sock darning and sled repair. The youngest elves, all caught mid-fidget by the rapping baton, stiffen their joints and attempt to exert control back over their limbs. They make for their rows like wind-up tin soldiers, trying to keep their springs from unspooling. The first practice of the Elven Choir has now commenced. This is 'Tis the Soundtrack's Christmas World. If you have suggestions of areas of the North Pole you would like to see profiled, you can send me an email at kevin@tisthesoundtrack.com.